I was born in 1926, the year of the tiger, on the 30th of July. Astrologically, I am a Leo. The sun is my planet. My element is fire. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I am a combination of all my ancestors, the known and the unknown. I am the essence of an accumulative consciousness.
Black butterfly, sail across the water. Tell your sons and daughters what the struggle brings.
My mother, Beatrice Parson, came to Los Angeles from Kansas City as a teenager. She and my father, Jefferson Brown, met in college. Later they married, and I am their eldest child. I have a sister, Jeffelyn, and a brother, Robert. When my brother was a few months old, my father became ill and died. I was 6 years old. His death was traumatic to our family. I made a series of collages to honor his memory, in which I used photocopies of his handwritten will. My mother remarried and had 2 more children, Emmett Jr. and Sharon. As I grow up, I encounter many crossroads. The veil of innocence fades away. I go to college. I marry Dick Saar. We have 3 daughters, Leslie, Allison, and Tracy. I get divorced. I work. I teach. I make art. I travel. My daughters grow up, move out, marry, and have children. At home, I gather my solitude around me as if it were a cloak. It is light and airy, cloud-like. It is comforting and secure and warm. It is fragrant as fresh-cut grass. My solitude is the source of my creativity. My paternal roots stem from Louisiana, a blend of African and Native American. My grandmother, Hannah Irene Mays, was born in Lake Charles. She was a widow when she and my father, Jefferson, came to Los Angeles about 1907. My grandmother remarried and settled in Watts, California. I sometimes recognize some of her traits in myself, especially as I am now a grandmother. I recall her watching. Watching. She stands by the window behind the grill, peering past the curtain, looking forward, thinking back, collecting the twilight corners that hover in her ancestral past, pursuing the Nubian shadows of her grandmother's grandmother, her heartbeat echoing a tribal drumbeat. Watching, thinking back, through the lost dimensions of time, past terrain, collecting random thoughts of unrecognized rivers flowing from Europe's shores into seas sailed by the strangers with masks of indifference. Watching, looking forward, unearthing the future, the unseen pages of her journal of dreams, dreams the flowering of her great-grandchildren's children, their smiles that mimic the smiles she left behind. Her secret heart wishes that their quest dissolve the differences between and expand to unconditional love. Watching, she stands by the window, behind the grill, peering past the curtain. She stands, a sign of the times, a version of survival, a survival of the spirit, a bridge to infinity of the next century. Watching, old Jim Crow still hanging around her window, watching. Through my art, I record my nostalgic past. I create a series of works about the women in my family. On my maternal side, my great-grandmother, Frances Parson White, lived in Missouri. She was probably born a slave. She had 2 daughters and a son. My great-aunt Hattie Parsons Hayes Keyes moved to Los Angeles in the 1920s. Her brother, Albert Parson, my grandfather, married Emma Kelly from Virginia in 1898. My mother, Beatrice, was an only child and born in Perry, Iowa in 1901, a small-town girl. Her mother died when she was 9 years old, a dawning of her vale of tears. I sort through my family's photos in my studio. I select a faded photo of my mother at approximately age 3. She is standing near a fence, wearing a sunbonnet and a big smile, not a trace of the sadness that would eventually come into her eyes. And now, except for an occasional dream, I have almost forgotten the sound of her voice. My roots are tangled, a blend of black, white, and red. I am labeled Creole, mulatto, mixed. I am colored in every sense. I emerge from the shadows, still enslaved by the one-drop rule, but liberated by the truth that all blood is red. I loosen and unwrap the illusions from my past. In my studio, I stare at the relics from my family, the faded photos, bits of lace and fabric, gloves, hankies, pressed flowers, and bits of jewelry, the mementos of long-forgotten events kept for old memoirs, the shards of other houses and other lives. These materials and images are assembled into my art, and thereby I create the griot's tale. Through my art, I reinvent myself and my personal history. The wheel of time, which seemed to move so slowly in childhood, now races towards the millennium. Lazy days become speeding, blurred minutes. My life has more years behind me than ahead of me. My life moves as a spiral. It spirals around my home and garden. It spirals around my studio and art. It spirals around my daughters and their families. It spirals around my grandchildren. In a reverie I had one evening earlier this year, my daughter Allison has picked me up at the airport. She is driving, and my grandson Kyle is sitting beside her. I am in the back seat, sitting next to Maddie, my granddaughter. I glance up at the rearview mirror and catch a glimpse of my face over Allison's shoulder. I recognize my mother's face in my face. I have a strange sensation that my mother and my grandmother are seated behind me. And I think of my other granddaughters, Sola and Geneva, and of the new baby to come. For a brief moment I am suspended in time. I am looking ahead and thinking back. The past, the present, and the future are all enclosed in this automobile, swiftly moving through the night, as if in a memory of the future.
Black butterfly, sail across the water. Tell your sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterfly, set the skies on fire. Rise up even higher, so the angels' wheels of time
My roots are tangled. My unknown ancestors from Africa, Ireland, America have blurred the boundaries. I cannot recall the lost legends of forgotten tribes, nor revive the rituals of fragmented cultures. But I cast a long shadow. Backwards my spirits wander, from Willow Glen Gardens, zigzag to Louisiana, to Iowa, to Missouri, to Virginia's shores. Kindred spirits beckon, and my spirit sail. Some to Irish seas, and some crawl deep into the belly of a slave ship. On the dark shore, phantoms of secret ceremonies taunt my spirits. Mojo eyes survey my spirit. Seduced by the unknown, my spirits pass through the spirit door to seek the hidden corner of the ancestral chair. To breathe on the embers of Africa. To recall the memory of fire. To experience a haunting sadness, a vivid reminder that in the ashes of time all bones are white.